Hey, I thought you said I was supposed to get this interview with Chris. I thought it was today, wasn't it? It's today.
I just got back. I think I got this little dumbass interview right now or something.
What?
I know. I just did the other one, and now I'm doing this one too. It's like
I gotta call
literally
you.
don't get
I
paid
gotta
enough for
call
this,
you
but
back.
when I finish this up, I'll give you a call. It's not like I'm tired. I'm gonna get through this bullshit, whatever, and I'm gonna call you back. All right? Okay. All right. I love you too. What's up?
Sup?
What's up?
Chris, how's it going? I was just about to put on a search party for you. Like,
why for me? Why would you put a search on party for me? Why would anybody put on a search party for me?
I mean, weren't you just
say it?
Or you just
say it?
Kidnapped?
First of all, I'm a grown ass man. Okay, that's number one. Number two. Do you have any idea? Do you have any idea what JD smells like up close? Can you possibly imagine what the living quarters, the living situation is like for the workhorseman? It is the most disgusting dungeon that I've ever seen in my life. But oh, it's so funny. We kidnapped the. Can we start over? Can we start on another note, please? Can you ask me anything else but that? Anything else but that?
Yeah, because I'm in the boat of not agreeing with that, but I digress. Yeah. Because who? Honestly, between me and you, who does that?
Thank you.
Who in their right mind does that? Like,
thank you. At least you're on the right side of history. That's fine.
I never understood it. When I saw her go down, it was just disgusting.
All right. Well, but a long legal battle ahead of us, but that's neither here nor there. It's a pleasure to speak to you today, Gresh.
Who? No. So, Chris, since we was looking for, since we got that out the way, you want to do the intro properly so we can get the people interested?
Feel free to do a proper intro. Let's see if you got it. Let's see if you got it in you.
Smashed. You what?
Ladies and gentlemen, stand to your feet and make noise for Gresh.
Let's go! Brock Lesnar on the beast.
What the hell?
Whole new swag with a price on the tag, coming live from the west to the east. Better recognize on the mouthpiece. See the power level got an increase.
I get no bitches.
Content on a daily. Feeling like Gresh unleashed.
Greetings and salutations, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and baby mamas, baby daddies, everybody in between. It is your purveyor of mischief, Gresh, bringing you another exciting interview right here on the Gresh Unleashed podcast. And joining me for the very first time ever is the wonderful Chris Danger. How's it going, buddy?
Oh, that's easily one of the better intros I had. So we're moving in the right direction. We're moving in the right direction.
Yeah.
How are you this lovely afternoon?
Hey man, it could be better because the weather out here in Atlanta is dog shit, kind of like the workhorseman. But we're not going to bring that up anymore. So for today's interview, what made you particularly start the NDA?
What made me start the NDA? Well, first and foremost, the opportunity arose when DPW came around, and when I tell you, they begged me up and down. We need Chris Danger. We need Chris Danger. This company's not going to work. We don't have a chance. We don't have a snowball's chance in hell of succeeding unless we got Chris Danger on the roster. I said, okay. I ain't bumping though. I ain't bumping though. I saw the budgets. I saw what they were working with. I said, you don't got enough for that yet. But I knew that there was a way that I could contribute to not only the organization, but to pro wrestling itself. And then I happened upon Patrick Scott and Chance Riser, The Reality, two of the most talented, handsome, professional, incredible wrestlers that exist on the independent scene. They won championships in other promotions, et cetera, but guess who was the inaugural DPW World's Tag Team Champions? Oh, that's right. The Reality. And I knew that from the bat. The moment I set my eyes on them, I said, these are my guys. These are my champs. So we proceeded, as was seen on Fire and Forever, You already know, and these other dumbass names that they keep coming up with for these shows. We beat the Workhorsemen, we beat TSF, we beat Chaos Project, we beat everybody. And that is exactly why I started the NDA, to prove that Chris Danger can do whatever he wants, whenever he wants.
Couldn't have asked a better response for that, because that's the perfect way to put it, because you got to, in this business, you got to be able to win at all costs, and you will do whatever it takes to make sure your boys win and retain those DPW World Tag Team Championships. Might as well.
Bruce, when I tell you that these championships are literally the most important thing in the world to me, there is nothing that means more than those titles. I will put my own body and well-being, as we have seen, at stake to make sure that those titles remain with the reality and remain with the NDA. And that's something that's never going to change. Whether it's the tag team championships, maybe in the future it's the world championship in my corner. Maybe it's the women's championship. No matter what it is, if the gold is in my hands, you're going to have to take it from my cold, dead fingers, pretty much.
I like that you mentioned the women's world championship, because I heard your interview with that guy, Muscle Man Malcolm. I know you weren't really fans of
that guy's a piece of work. Guy's a piece of work.
Hey, he's a good dude on surface, but I've heard. But his interview, he asked you about adding female. I think you mentioned that you were going to look into adding a female talent to the group.
Sure.
What about a main event talent, like I know Bojack is kind of ignoring your calls, or Andrew Everett is doing whatever he's doing. Like, have you thought about bringing someone into, I guess, since they don't want to join you, bring someone in to beat them?
Now, saying they don't want to join me, I think, is a bit of a stretch. I believe you guys know it's just a communication problem is all it is. They're busy. I'm busy. I don't want to say they're not calling me back. It's more of a phone tag type of thing. I called them back. They called me back. I'm not available at that time, etc.
Gotcha.
But I agree with you. The NDA is not just what you see now. The NDA is something that is going to grow and change and evolve over time. And the only way to do that is to, like you said, continue to bring on main event talent that's going to win me championships. And the two that you mentioned, Bojack and Andrew Everett, have been, oh my God, on my radar since the day I walked in this godforsaken company. However, I'm not the type to completely let the cat out of the bag, because there recently has been another name that has come up that has been on my radar. And if all goes well, we may be seeing him sooner than later. We'll see.
We'll see. Hypothetically speaking, how would someone? What is the recommendations to join the NDA? Like, how would one look to say, hey, Chris, can I join? Be under your guidance?
Sure. Well, right off the bat, if you have to ask, you'll never be part of it. Is basically number one. It's one of those things where you need to be the type of talent that is undeniable, the type of person that I believe is capable of carrying the weight that I need them to carry if they're going to be part of this group. Patrick and Chance have a massive weight on their shoulders every single time we step in that arena, because you know what people are saying. Oh, because it's Chris Danger, they get treated this way and that way and yada yada, and they get what they want and blah blah blah. And then what happens? Then we go in that ring and beat the shit out of everybody. You understand what I'm saying? I need to make sure that these people can carry that weight on their shoulders, and it takes a very, very special type of person to do that. So when that person comes around, I keep my eye on them, I study them, I examine them from afar to the best of my abilities, the best that the DPW higher-ups will allow me to, because they like to get in the way sometimes. But I'll just say, when that special person comes around, I won't let them slip through my fingers. Or her.
Last question, because I know we don't want to mention what transpired, but for this act that happened against you, would you like to take a page out of Triple H, or before that, Harley Race's playbook, and place a bounty on these people's head for this egregious act against you. And that could be a way for you to see who's willing to step up to the plate and impress you.
So here's the deal. August 6th, DPW, I believe it's called Believe the Hype is the name of the show they called it this time. And you know what? This is probably one of the better names they've had, because it's the goddamn truth. Because you really backed us into a corner. They really did. They demanded this 6-man tag. It's going to be the Workhorsemen and Mason Miles versus the Reality and a partner of our choosing. Now, here's the good news, bad news for Workhorsemen and Mason Miles. Yes, they caught me off guard, which will never happen again. Yes, they put me in a situation where I was forced to create a match that I don't want to create. I don't want to make this match. I don't want to deal with the Workhorsemen again. I don't ever want to see them in my sight, like ever. But the fact of the matter is, the situation is happening. The match is happening. It is what it is. And when they get there, August 6th, and when that 6-man goes down, they're going to find out the NDA were the wrong people to fuck with. And that's all there is to it.
With all due disrespect.
You damn right.
Now that we've gotten everything out of the bag, I know you are a busy man, but
Oh, absolutely.
would you put your significant?
Oh my! Don't tell me you want to talk to the other dude.
Yeah, I kind of want to catch up with Chris Denker. If you,
I'm honestly sick of this dude. So if as long as I don't have to deal with him anymore, and you're gonna deal with him, that's totally fine. I got a call. It was good talking to you, Graf.
all right.
You. Yeah. No, I just finished this bullshit up. Yeah. Hey, Chris. Chris. Yeah. I think Grunge wants to talk to you.
This man called me
I
Grunge.
don't know what about. Just go.
We'll be right back after this message.
Like, is he recording like now? Is he like recording now? Yo.
Yo.
What's up, Gresh?
What's
What's going on, brother?
That Chris
What's
Danger
happening? I'm sorry, I'm sorry, man.
You know.
Were you just talking to him a couple minutes ago?
Yeah.
Oh.
You know, yeah. He's a piece.
I'm sorry, man.
I try to be nice to him. You know, I try to plead for his plight, but you know.
You just kind of just got to roll with the punches. Just just nod and say yes, and just let him see you his shit. And it is what I just one ear and out the other at this point. How are you? How are you though?
Man, I am good. I am trying to juggle a lot of hats, but what has been up with you, man? Outside, I know you just got back from traveling. Like,
yeah, I was traveling, just doing some stuff in some places, but aside from that, I mean, you can probably relate to how my life is, man. It's just make content, put the content up, rinse and repeat. There's like I mentioned this when I talked to Malcolm recently too. Like, one of the big things for me personally is like my health and fitness right now. Like, I've been working with a personal trainer, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm just trying to chase the things that make me happy. Like I'm kind of, the older I get, the more I'm like, yeah, I could do stuff that like other people want me to do, or I can just do what I want to do that I'm going to enjoy. So I think I'm gonna go with B. So that's kind of just what I've been trying to put more emphasis on, just like doing shit that I want to do, and that's that.
That's how you do it, because well, before I know what you joined this podcast, what happened to your podcast? I know I've been listening to it for it got me through some it was a pleasant background noise for the time that I was living in at the time, because I believe you had it. Was it during the pandemic?
Yeah, that's what it started. Is. So what had happened was no, it's literally just like it was becoming sometimes hard to, like, I kind of put the pressure on myself. Like, when I started the podcast, I had no intention of like having a wrestler on every single episode. I'm kind of just like, I'm just gonna wing it and blah blah. So it kind of became a thing of like, oh shit, I gotta have like a wrestler on here every time. Like, oh shit, now I gotta work out their schedule and stuff. And like, I was putting all this pressure on myself, and it took away the whole reason that I did it in the first place. Like, the whole reason I wanted to start a podcast is just to like sit around with people that that I respect, or just people that I fuck with in general, and just talk about whatever. Like, it doesn't have to be a wrestling interview, and like that's what it became. And I was like, pause. We're gonna put a pause on it, so I have time to reset and kind of figure out what I really want to do. But it will be back. It will be back. It will not be exactly how it was. There'll still be shit like that because there's still tons of people in the wrestling business that I want to talk to and just like see what they're up to and shit, and like people that I'm friends with that I haven't had to, have on yet to just talk wrestling or whatever. So it will absolutely come back, just not in like the exact format that it's been. But I think it'll be better.
You're kind of in my boat, because for those of you who've been around since day one, this is the second incarnation of this podcast. The first incarnation was created in the height of WWE 2K20. I created it because I said the height, air quotes. The reason why I say that was because I was at that point, like, I was kind of bored with IRL wrestling. So I was like, let me try to create this little podcast to see what this goes. And then 2K20 dropped, and I'm like, oh, this is dog shit.
You don't say.
So I was so like defeated and done with just creating, because for those who don't know, I was creating universe mode content. So I was like, okay, I need the freedom to be creative. And when you try to create on 2K20, boy,
the game said nope. The game said, you doing John Cena and Samoa Joe on Monday Night Raw, and that's it. That's all you're doing.
Best 2 out of 3 falls, man. You might.
There's your universe mode.
You might get a 2 out of 3 falls. You might get a one and one, and then it might crash. Like, yeah, that's how it was.
That's it.
Ooh, but then I created this, and I felt like as the time, because I created over like 100 and something episodes. So I was like, oh, but then when I listened back, because I was like, let me listen back to this. I said, I hate every single one of these episodes. So me and my co-host, she came on later, Swella. She came on later in the show, and I said, how about we just do a reboot? She said, what you mean? I said, we just finna start over. Like, we got the following behind it. People know what I bring to the table. They know what you bring to the table. Let's just start over. And instead of doing the whole, because we tried to dabble in the news and rumors type stuff, that doesn't work. We tried to dabble in the weekly reviews. That doesn't work all the time. So we said, you know what? Fuck it. Let's just, sometimes we'll review a retro episode. Sometimes we'll just dabble and catch up on life. And then like, hey, did you catch Raw? No. Okay. Why would
no. All right. Moving on.
Moving on. That's literally how it is. Like, did you catch this? Did you catch this? And if they didn't catch it, we just talk about literally everything. And that's just how it is right now. So I see exactly what you're talking about. Like, you don't want to get into that format to where it's just literally like either people expect this to happen, or it's like you put yourself too much pressure. Because I put myself on a lot of pressure, because forcing myself to watch every episode of wrestling content out there would kill anyone's passion.
Yeah, absolutely. and I've thought about that shit too. I'm like, damn, I could, if I did like a weekly review thing, like of Raw and SmackDown and then Dynamite, like that's Monday, Wednesday, Friday content. Review Raw, review Dynamite, review SmackDown. That's Monday, Wednesday. That's 3 videos I don't even have to fucking think about, right? But it's just like, God, I would hate that. I would hate that so much. So it's like, you get to a point where you're like, okay, yes, I could do this for the views, but it's also going to just hurt me in my soul. So like being at the point in my life and in career, if you want to call it that, where I can just be like, you know what, fuck the views, I'm just gonna do what I want to do, is I'm grateful to be able to do that for sure. But it's like, it's one of those things where you really got to think about it and be like, I could do this other thing, but I really don't want to.
That sounds like,
so just do what you want, man. If anybody's listening that wants advice for their content or whatever, just do what makes you happy, and don't worry about making anybody else happy but yourself.
Yeah, because I know, I appreciate, shout out BDE Brandon, because I had him on a few well, it was a month ago. Me and my time frame is not like
I don't know what day of the week it is.
I don't know what day it is. He was on, but me and him, like he brought me into the shout out you guys to kind of open up.
Not supposed to talk about that.
Oh yeah, that shit. Yeah. Cool. Yeah.
That's nothing. That's nothing.
That's nothing. No,
made it up.
Literally, don't worry about it. Editor, take that out. Wait, that's me. Anyways, y'all didn't hear nothing. But yeah, I appreciate growing myself around more people like me because my brain, the way my brain works, I'm always saying maybe that's a good idea. No, you don't want to copy off this person. You don't want to do this because I'll do a Brandon. Like someone say, "Why don't you do a challenge?" I'm like, "Yeah, cool, but that's Brandon's thing." Or why don't you do insert such and such into AEW for a year? Cool. Chris just did that. That's just how my brain works.
Yeah, but you know what? If you look at literally any other genre of gaming, that's exactly what all the creators do. You look at NBA 2K, they all have their type of like, you know, there's the part creators, there's the my career creators, there's the my team creators, but they all have similar styles sometimes. There's like groups of creators that create the same types of videos and the same styles of videos, and it's something that like our genre just doesn't fucking have for some reason. Yeah. And we really should. Like if someone has a really good idea or a really good video and someone wants to do like a separate version of that or like their own, you know, their own vision of it, just fucking do it. You know, if you got the idea from somebody else, yeah, give them fucking credit. And like that's it. And that's how everybody grows together. If you have similar videos, your videos get recommended with those similar videos. You grow off that person, that grow off this, and like the whole community gets bigger and bigger and bigger that way. But everybody's kind of everybody, and I'm absolutely guilty of this, of sometimes just like being in my own world, of just like worrying about my own shit. But if you're conscious and aware of like what's going on with the community as a whole, that's how everybody grows. That's how everybody gets bigger. And this community is already like the fraction of a fraction of a fraction of a fraction in the gaming space. Right. You know what I mean? So it's like we should all be taking advantage of trying to make it as big as it could possibly be. So there's nothing wrong with repeating content that works, making your own version of content that works, or just straight up collaborating with these people that are doing the same type of stuff that you're doing, you know?
That's why I like that you brought that up, because I noticed, because I know a lot of people don't really mess with him, but remember the gentleman that they brought on for 2K22, his name is slipping my mind. The guy who helped with the ratings reveal. What's his name? Because shit.
I did not watch any ratings reveals.
But whoever's listening to this probably know who I'm talking about. But I think he came from NBA side of it, and then he got
Ronnie. Ronnie?
I know a lot of people don't like him. Or I don't really know, because I really never.
I've never had a conversation with him, so
I've never. That's not my place to judge. But it's like people like him, or like the tech guy who they paid for a minute to play the game. I'm pretty sure he's not playing it now, but he played the game for a minute, and then it's like I always tell people, I'm like, yo, just instead of bashing it, because I think a lot of times our community, they have a way of, I guess, being scared of outsiders. So where they're not really welcoming a lot of people. I'm like, instead of pushing them off, how about you just ride that wave a little bit and jump off?
It's a highly gate kept community for sure. And I think if people kind of put that guard down a little bit, that's you know, and I don't think I'm surprising any wrestling fan when I say this, that a big reason why some people are turned off from wrestling is because of wrestling fans. Like, I don't think that's a surprise to a whole lot of people. So I think just being fucking more welcoming to anybody that like wants, like when Tim the Tap Man was in the commercial, has he ever played it? Like, of course not. But he played that, you know, he played the trailer for whatever 60,000 people that were probably watching him on Twitch at the time. Sure, he hasn't fucking played the game since that, but like what, like it is what it is, whatever. But little shit like that, like Logan Paul being in a DLC and stuff, like I think stuff like that is cool. There have been people who said like, oh, that should be like, you know, Brandon and you and blah, blah, blah. And like, yeah, y'all got a point. But at the same time, I also see the benefit of, you know, of having some people from the outside. So it's one of those things, man, where we just got to be more open and welcoming as a community for people that want to rock with wrestling as a whole, you know?
Yeah, because I think I like that you said that, because I know a lot of people, they have this I think whoever is behind 2K, I think I understand their strategy. They're trying to, because they realize that our community is either the same or they're diminishing a little bit.
Sure.
Like they're looking at the numbers. They're like, okay, so how about we just reach out? Like they don't realize a lot of people. I think they're seeing. I understand it. Some people's frustrations because 2K20 was literally just sucked the life and the passion out of a lot of people. So they were like, 2K22 has to hit for the hardcore fans, but at the same time, you got to understand that they're trying to make more money at the same time. Like they're going to reach us, but they need to make more money. You're not going to agree with everything they do. Like, that's anything. Even if it's movies, then we're not going to agree. Marvel just dropped Love and with Thor. It was a decent movie for me, but it would be my bottom 10. It'll be in like at the bottom 10. I got my top 10, my bottom 10. That won't be at the bottom. It wasn't a bad movie. It just I was like, okay, it's another.
I haven't seen that one yet. I like Ragnarok a lot, but I haven't seen that.
That's what I'm saying. I prefer Ragnarok, so that's why I'm like, Okay. So, but at the same time, you're gonna have some people who love it, like.
Yeah, they're gonna be like, it's the best Thor movie ever.
You're gonna have some people who love WWE 2K22. And you, and
there's people that love WWE 2K20.
Exactly, and I'm like,
I say, what? I say, are you okay?
Are you
normal? I usually block them, but then that's
I almost blocked them. I almost blocked a few. I was like, nah, get this shit out.
I didn't want to hear this. You're just trolling me at this point. There's no way.
There's no way this is fun to you. Like, come on. The Fiend, whatever that DLC shit was, really?
I was so hyped for that originals mode.
Originals, yeah. Oh my god.
I was so disappointed.
I was so glad
playing as Neon. They had that Neon Charlotte and Naomi DLC. I was
like, we had a robot Nia Jax. I'm like,
Nia robot. Like, okay, yep. This is why I paid extra for the game.
We need more. We need more Nia Jax. Okay, all right.
Sounds great.
No, it was. 2K.
Anywho,
what advice would you give any up and coming content creators that sees what you and I guess me as well in regards to like starting, like creating whatever content and just continuing? Because some people start, but then they just be like, I don't.
Those people that just start have are already miles ahead of the people that just have never started. So if you have something, and maybe you'll try and you'll hate it. Maybe you'll try and you'll love it. So if you're on the fence about starting or like you're not sure about something, you have to, you literally just have to try it. And the worst case scenario, right, if you're a content creator, is that your shit doesn't get any views. Life goes on. Shit happens. Best case scenario is that, you find something that you really enjoy and that you fall in love with. And now, you turn it into a job that's paying your bills or just like a little extra thing on the side. But if you are going to start, and you do want to take it seriously, you can't let the fact that your first 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 50 videos don't get hardly any views. You can't let that sway you from the end goal. Everybody starts with 0 views. Maybe one of your shit, maybe one of your little things is going to pop off and you'll get crazy views off it. But there's a higher probability of a chance of that not happening. You know what I'm saying? So as long as you're willing to stick through those times, you never know. You never know what's going to happen. So. Everyone's gonna throw around too this whole fucking oversaturated thing. The suit, get the fuck out of here. Like, how many people's interests and hobbies and everything changes just at a moment's notice. Like someone that watches me today might wake up tomorrow and never want to watch me again. And then, but at that same time, 2 new people who have never seen me before now all of a sudden typed in WWE 2K something, and my dumbass pops up, and now I got 2 new. Like there's always people's interests and hobbies and viewing patterns are always changing. There is always room for new people to hop in. So as long as you take it seriously and you show people that you have something to provide them, there's no such thing as being oversaturated. It's oversaturated with shit, so don't be shit.
Please don't be shit. Please don't be shit.
I'm gonna tattoo that on my forehead.
And don't put my name in your tags either, because they be thinking someone said they'll search Gresh and they'll see somebody else. I'm like, yeah, that ain't me.
All the time. All the time. It comes with the territory.
I'm like, if you see me with that goofy ass thumbnail shot, then it's me.
That also comes with territory. That's probably my least favorite thing ever, is making thumbnail shots. I'm like, oh, son of a bitch.
That's why I kind of appreciate
like a dumbass.
That's why I kind of appreciate 2K22 or YouTube evolving, like with Brandon, he'll tell me like, bro, just chill with your face and just look for some in-game shots and see how that goes. And I'm like,
that's something too. There's so many, like, just kind of going back to what I said, YouTube too is constantly changing, and the way that it works and the way that it recommends content. So like being conscious of, there's another thing about not gatekeeping, you know, welcoming in other eyes and other ways of doing things can open up a huge like wave for everybody. So there's no reason to like keep that kind of stuff to yourself, and that kind of just goes back to what I was saying before. But you know,
oh yeah,
I'm not gonna repeat it. So you
basically, and also one last little nugget for you guys: be entertaining, be authentic. Like some people can literally do everything to a T, and the video can be boring as hell. Like it can visually look beautiful, but then when you get behind the microphone and you sound like this, like one time on Bandcamp, I tried to do...
And that's the thing. So you know what that comes down to? That comes down to self-awareness. You know, it's like, how am I different from, like, obviously with me, I turn the mic on and I just become just whatever. But that's not everybody's bag. That's not everybody's way of creating content. They're not just constantly loud, obnoxious for no reason. So they might have to find other ways to do things. So if you have less of like an overbearing fucking personality, like every big YouTuber has, maybe you approach it a different way. Maybe you narrate stuff. Maybe you like retell certain events or tell stories or present your content in a way that's going to make you look good, and it's going to make the video look good. If it's not authentic to you, it's not going to work. I think is the most important thing to take away, is that if you can sit down and record and say, I'm not being any sort of me, even if it's like a far extension of yourself, as long as you're still being, you know, true to who you are, as corny as that can sound, it's really gonna reflect in your content. So yeah, just creating from what you believe in is the best way to start, I would say.
It reminded me of when I first started. I was Mr. HSR Show XB2. like I had a random. I feel like my name was
letters.
A lot of letters at this point. I'm like, what does this mean? Like looking back, I'm like, what does this mean? I went from that, and I went to 2KEP games, whatever that means. And then I was like, okay, I went to Kajuji games, and I don't know what that means either. So I sat back and I just said, you know what is me? God damn it, what is me? They said, oh, and I looked at my last name and I said, Gresh. That's me. And then from 2015 or 2017 is when I figured that out, to now is Gresh. So like I put on IG, I said, Gresh isn't a character. This is just literally me. So how you talking to me now is how I talk in person and how I talk on camera. And that's what you bring to creating content. That's
absolutely.
That's just,
if you're faking it, it's going to be so obvious to everybody watching, because it's like kind of going back to the oversaturated thing. There are so many people on YouTube to watch that like people are a little, what's the word? Like they are aware if you're being shitty. Whereas like maybe back in the old days, it was like, hey guys, like you'd get away with it. Nowadays people are like, shut the fuck up. Like, you know, they'll see right through you. So authenticity, I think, is the most important thing for sure. 100%.
Yes, sir. We're gonna be valuable. I'm gonna be valuable of your time, obviously. But so we're gonna get on to the speed round Q&A.
Oh no.
You said, oh no.
I'm bad with speed stuff because I talk a lot. But go ahead.
No, what I mean by speed is like I got it. It's mainly speed for me and not for you. So
okay.
It's like speed for me. Like okay, this is where I like okay, just get to the point. I want you to list 10 of your favorite wrestlers, that past or present, that is not exclusive to WWE. So you can go WWE, AEW, TNA, NWA.
It has to be in order. The order changes all the time.
It doesn't have to be in order.
Okay. Like going back old school, Stone Cold, Bret Hart, Shawn, Bryan Danielson, CM Punk. Kenny has definitely snuck into my top 10 over the last couple of years. Xavier Woods, obviously, most underrated motherfucker in the world. I feel like I'm gonna be really protective of these last three, but I probably shouldn't. Like, I love watching a Macho Man match. Any single if I'm watching anything old that has Macho Man on it, just watching that dude move across the ring, just he's so quick and agile. It's just like one of the sickest things to watch. God, who else would I put in my final two? Probably like Rock would be up in the top 10. And
which version of Rock? You got the Attitude Era version or the
probably Attitude Era when he was just talking shit to everybody. He just didn't give a shit, and he just went off on
Kane.
Yes, like anything, anybody could get it. And damn, final top 10 would be now I can't remember who I have named and haven't named. Claudio. I put Claudio. Well, I would put New Day probably as a whole, like as a captain as a one, but definitely Claudio in there for sure.
Yes, sir.
I love that big bastard,
especially with him in AEW. I mean, like
he's gonna. I can't wait to see what he does there, man. I really hope they just let him
just go
run
crazy
and just be that guy.
Just and you can sneak up a world title win.
100%.
Yeah,
100%.
Just catch me off guard.
Like he's got Regal with him now that can
just sneak
if a match he's got to sell or whatever just to make it bigger. Like you can have fucking Regal do that, and then Cesaro fucking it's gonna be a while for us. I'm calling it. Then Claudio gets to just go in and be an insane bastard and one of the best in the world, and then there you go. That's money in my book.
You sound like me when I say shit. I gotta call this man Claudio now because I've been calling him Cesaro for years.
It's hard sometimes. People always changing their names and shit, but
as a fan,
as long as he's happier now, then that's all that matters.
As a fan, I want you to list 5 dream matches for the reality in DPW. Like, who do you think would face? It don't have to be as that other guy, but just I'm pretty sure you're a fan at heart. So that's what I'm like.
I am a fan of this DPW product that I've seen. There are some. So, and the reality is such a good team, and their managers out of this world, genius. I would love to see them fight. I mean, God, FTR. Like this is just like for any fucking tag team. We've been talking about how sick it would be to do, and I really think it would work. The reality versus Rosemary and Taya, the Impact Women's Tag Team Champions against the DPW Tag Team Champions in an intergender match. With how fucked up and crazy Rosemary is, and how much of a badass like veteran Taya is against two indie guys who are still trying to really get their name out there and make a name for themselves. I think it could go super crazy.
Inject it into my veins.
I think that would be so wild, and the only place that could happen to the best of its ability, I think, would be DPW. The dream match. I mean, the Briscoes. I would love to be outside of the ring.
Talking shit.
I mean, I'm sure the other guy would love to be outside of the ring, watching them go to war with a team like the Briscoes, who would take the reality to like a completely different level with their style of wrestling and everything. I mean, in a fucking perfect world, I'd probably have Breeze and Fandango in there coming through for or even like a Breeze and Sean Spears thing. Ooh. Like a Sweets coming through. Sweet. I think the reality against like the Dark Order, something maybe like an Evil Uno and 10 or like something like that could be really sweet. The thing about Patrick and Chance is that, and like I'm not just saying this to whatever, like I'm being genuine about this, is I really feel like they can adapt to anybody's style that they work with. That's kind of like the whole reason that these matches that have been happening in DPW have been happening. It's like the teams, the fucking Workhorsemen, Chaos Project, like these are legitimate seasoned teams, and like they hung in and held their own the entire time. Whether or not there was outer help, I don't recall, can't remember, didn't see the tape, but that's neither here nor there. The point is that they're able to hang with teams like that. So just being able I'll just say it. Being able to work with a team like that, and especially knowing how cool they are as people, and like how much we've clicked just as a unit, just the three of us. Like we talk all the fucking time now. Like literally, not a day goes by where we don't talk multiple times a day. So just being able to be in that situation with them is just like is such a blessing, because I really feel like they can go with any fucking team that comes in and come out looking incredible, even if they lost, which they wouldn't.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I know one team, like I had to add one match that I wouldn't mind seeing them, the Usos.
Oh hell yeah! Good Lord,
the Street Profits.
I mean, you know. I mean, I wouldn't. I'm trying not to name WWE teams because that's.
Yeah, you know, I know it's out of.
Could you imagine though if they let WWE teams take independent dates the same way that like AEW teams can take independent dates? Really, any AEW star can pretty much take an approved independent date, unless you're like the top 3 or 4 in the company that they want to really make sure are only AEW only. Yeah. But man, could you imagine shit like that if WWE just let them?
When I looked at their travel schedule, I understand why they don't.
No, yeah, it wouldn't work it wouldn't work logistically right now. But if there was a way to do it, God, I would love.
Yeah,
that.
I'm just saying for me that your top 5 that's one I wouldn't mind seeing in DPW, because as someone who's literally been watching, I heard my name I think on the little Patreon thing probably 2019 when it first started, and then that's the last time I heard it, because I was like I'm like, I see the vision, and I put it this way. I don't invest financially in a lot of wrestling companies. But DPW is one of those. I'm like, yeah, without question. When I saw the first episode, I'm like, yeah, this is money well spent.
I will say, like, and this not working, no character, whatever bullshit. Like, I genuinely believe that DPW is going to be fucking huge, because I know Johnny, I know James, I know Tony, I know their vision. Like, I know what they believe in. I know the type of wrestling that they like and that they want to present. I know who they are as people, which is like fucking huge. A wrestling company run by people that aren't shitheads. Oh my God. What a timeline we're in. So that sounds like I'm burying every other fucking promotion, which I'm not. I'm absolutely fucking not.
They don't have any scandals going on.
Like you hear the fucking horror stories of I worked for this guy or that guy or this guy, and they completely fucked me over, or didn't pay me, or didn't give a shit about me, or didn't respect me. Like, you will not hear that coming out of a DPW locker room at all. It's got such like a family vibe. Like, everybody wants it to succeed, because we all want what's best for each other. We're all pushing each other. We want to have the best match on the card, but we also look out for everybody else there. We all understand where we're trying to go. People don't come on DPW to get like a fucking payday. You think Rosemary works for Impact? All these other people that work for AEW and Impact that have come to DPW, they could have taken another AEW day. They probably could have taken another Impact day. They could have done something for their own company, but they take the time out of their schedule to work for a company that's been around for 5 months, 6 months. So wait, it's July, 7 months. Yeah. So like, I feel like that says a lot about what they're really trying to do. And again, not just saying this because I'm part of it, but I am behind it 1,000%. And I think if you want to invest in wrestling and invest in the future of wrestling, DPWOndemand.com is the best way to do that, because you will get access to every single thing that happens from beginning to end in DPW, right from the beginning to everything that we do till the end of time. So I appreciate you saying that's a good investment, because I 100% agree.
Yeah, 100% agree. And nobody's paying me for this, because it's literally my own words. Because even before, yeah, you know, I'm on DPW, but it's like I've been saying it since I started when the relaunch happened. I was like, I'm going to basically look into more indie wrestling, because I can watch WWE like the back of my hand, but sometimes I'm like, yeah, this does nothing for me. And then AEW is the same way. Like, it's a fun company. The honeymoon period for me with AEW is over. So that's what I'm like. It's still a fun company, but it's like I need my investment, my injection of indie wrestling. So 100%. I'm like, okay, I'll check out a DPW or GCW or JCW or whoever. I was
definitely one of those people too, who just like, it was WWE for so long. You know what I mean? It was like, I'd never really watched Impact too much. I didn't watch independent wrestling. I was like literally just a WWE guy. And then it was really only like the last 5 or 6 years where I really started getting into like knowing who these independent wrestlers were. And now like being in DPW is like it's like a crash course on learning like who some of these people are and how fucking good they are. I'm like, how have I never seen this person before? How am I not aware of how was I not aware of BK Westbrook before this? You know what I mean? Like how does Andrew Everett not get booked on every promotion, every single weekend that he has open in his life? Why aren't people paying him millions of dollars? Like, you know what I mean? Like this is the type of shit I'm finding out now, being like in the thick of it. And it's probably the coolest part of the whole process is like watching how these men and women interact with each other and like create the moments that they're trying to make. I've learned so much about wrestling in these last 6 months and like I've been watching wrestling forever. You could probably attest to this too, that you know a lot about wrestling if you watch it for a very long time. And I feel like just these last 6-7 months, I've learned more than I ever have in my life. Because when you see it from that perspective, it's really different. You really get a different outlook on what's going on. So try it. Get into the wrestling business, everyone that's listening to this.
I told Lala on my last interview, I said, shit, when I study people like William Regal, or because I don't listen to a lot of wrestling podcasts, I listen to Deadlock and William Regal's podcast. Those are only 2 podcasts, and Solid Monster from time to time. But it's like when I listen to him, I'm like, his philosophy, I'm like, yo, shit, let me get into this. Let me go pay however much I got to pay at AR Fox's school here in Atlanta, and just take a bump and just see how let me be a on-air personality, because this shit.
Man, that first bump is a bitch and a half. Absolutely, I know that for a fact. And you will decide right then and there whether or not this shit is for you. Like you don't need to come back 5 or 6 times. You will know right then and there whether or not that this is something you want to do. But absolutely, it's just like one of those unique things where it's like once you're a part of it, you really understand the magic behind it. It's really crazy.
Oh yeah.
Really crazy.
So for the next one, I'm gonna tap into the would you rather. So basically, I only got 2. So because I know you're mainly personality than a wrestler. So would you rather take a chop from Walter / Gunther or JD Drake?
Oh my god. Like that's like asking would I rather take a 12 gauge shotgun like up close, or a fucking like, or get shot by a sniper rifle from 50 yards away. Like both of them suck. They both suck ass. I'm gonna say I know Gunther hits hard. I know he does, but I'm not dumb enough to piss him off. I've heard that JD Drake up close is very scary, and when the hand starts coming towards you, you start feeling genuine fear. So I'm gonna go with I would rather not take a chop from JD Drake, because I feel like he wouldn't care for my well-being. I don't know why I feel that way. I just have the feeling.
He got that old man strength. Like he don't look old, but he like, you know, like
he's got that southern, like I pick up tires and tree trunks just because strength, you know, not like, oh, I put how many plates I put on the gym. It's like, no, I'm gonna pull this tree out of the roots in the ground out in the forest type of strength.
He's like, I'm gonna fuck you up.
That's the type of shit you don't want. That's the type of shit you don't want.
He got that power where I'm gonna fuck you up, but then we're gonna have drinks later. Like you just gonna have a bruise on your chest.
It depends on how he feels about you as a person. Yeah, it depends on how he feels about you as a person.
Yeah,
don't get on his bad side
at all. Or Gunther, because I know I saw someone comment.
He slimmed down a lot too, so I don't know how that affected his power. I don't know. So I'm sticking with JD.
I'm pretty sure you didn't see that Levig chop that he did on SmackDown. His whole soul left his body. So
I mean, again, it's not something I would ever want to take, regardless. So.
Yeah, he may look like a swimsuit model now, but he still can whoop your ass.
Leaned out. That's great for him, man.
All right, so great. Would you take a Batista bomb or a Bojack bomb?
if Bojack would start returning his phone calls, I'll take whatever Bojack wants to take. I feel like, I don't know this for sure, but I feel like that other guy, if Bojack said like, yo, I'll put you through this table and I'll sign, he would probably do it. That's all. So yeah.
That'll be
I don't know that
bump.
to be true. I just a guess. That's just a guess.
That'll
so
be the
guessing.
one bump that Chris Danger actually takes. Wow.
God forbid the day ever come.
Last one. Would you take a clothesline from hell from JBL or a lariat from CM Pulse?
CM Pulse. The day that man hits me with a lariat is the day that hell freezeth over by the might of Zeus in the eyes of the Lord. That's when that'll ever happen. So would you rather?
He said, "Fuck
What's
all
it- what's
that."
You think I'm gonna fall? You think I'm gonna fall over? What's he gonna do? He's gonna hit me. No, he's gonna go for it. I'm gonna duck it. Bam, super kick. Bam, other stuff.
The Danger.
Yeah, you know
Destroyer.
what? So I would rather take a lariat from CM Pulse, 100%.
The
So I can
Danger
duck that
Destroyer.
shit, hit the super kick, 1, 2, 3, it's over. That's exactly what I want to do.
Since everybody is killing PD Williams Destroyer, you're gonna incorporate the Danger Destroyer.
You know
in
what?
there?
Maybe I'll throw that in there too.
Like,
And I'll hit it from the second rope just as a shout out to Chugs, just because I feel like it. Maybe I'll do that too.
I know I said the
sorry.
last
I
one.
forget- wait,
I know
I'm
I said
sorry.
the last
Were we-
one, but I lied. So
I forgot who I'm supposed to be right now. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I said the last one, but I lied. Would you rather get in a promo battle with Chugs / Adam Cole or Tully Blanchard?
Who would I rather?
Yeah, like you tap into your danger mentality. Like, who do you feel like Chris Danger can go chop for chop on the mic? You're not gonna pull a carrying cross and just stand there look like a big goof. You're gonna actually.
I personally feel like, not biased or anything, that there are a lot of people who Chris Danger could go toe to toe with, and God, if he just had the chance to do so, how magical it would be. I think that it's kind of a weird question to answer too, because people are always like, "Oh, wouldn't you? Who would you love to be in a promo battle with?" And it's like, what are we talking about? Like what are we talking about here? Is somebody writing somebody else's shit that they're gonna come out and say? Or are we talking from the heart? Do we have something to sell? Like, are we teaming? Are we breaking up? Like, there's so many scenarios that could potentially be tapped into. All I know is that my number one thing, if I was in the wrestling business, would be like, give me a fucking mic and let me sell something. Give me a mic and let me make somebody care about some shit that's about to happen. Let me make somebody care about the people I'm working with, the match we're about to have, the event we're about to put on, the thing we're doing next month, whatever. Like, I want to make you, depending on what side of the coin we're talking about, I want to either make you fucking hate me and boo me and like never want to let me speak and always want to just chant shit at me, or like maybe the other side of the coin will come up sometimes, and I'll make sure that every single time I get on that mic, you react to it. Like, people react to it. People have some sort of emotion from it. Like, that is my literally one and only goal, is to make people fucking feel something and believe in this thing that everybody knows is a fucking show. It's like, how do we make people put that aside for a little bit and invest in what we're doing? Like, I want people to feel like they're seeing something genuine. So that's my biggest thing. And I will go, if that means I gotta go toe to toe with somebody like Chugs or Tully or whoever, I will absolutely do that. And I'm frothing at the mouth for the opportunity to do so.
Man.
Is where we're at.
And this isn't because I'm saying this, and this ain't because you're here or because I'm a big DPW fan, but when Chris Danger gets on the mic, from what I've seen, the first time I saw him, like, yeah, he's gonna kill it. Like, I have this thing where I don't give, like, I have this thing that's just my personal thing. I don't give praise because I'm like, anyone can say it, but when you do something that I'm like, okay, you got it. Like from a content side,
I appreciate that.
with Murphs, I'm like, yeah, he got it. He got it. When BDE does his thing, I'm like, he's gonna kill it. This kid is the future. When well, for shoot, when you are on in the ring on that mic, I'm like, he's gonna kill it. Like,
I appreciate that a lot. Like that.
There's no other way to put it, because I'm like, and there's no denying it. It's like, yo, if I show, because I show a lot of my friends the DPW stuff when I have DPW on demand, DPWondemand.com. Where and I actually showed them that, and I'm like, they're like, yeah, who's this Chris Danger kid? And like, so they know, like, you got it, you got it.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that a lot, man. Because like I said, that's my thing. Like, a lot of people probably know this if they watched me for a while, but if they don't really know about my content or whatever, or haven't, like, I came from not YouTube. I came from having a fucking mic in my hand all the time. Like, I was in a music group. That's all I ever wanted to do, was perform in front of people with a mic in my hand. I don't care if it's music. I don't care if it's fucking theater. I don't care if it's pro wrestling. If I have the opportunity to do something cool with a mic in my hand, like, oh, that's all I ever wanted to do, man. Like, that's it. That is period, the end. If I have the opportunity to entertain somebody, believe me, I'm gonna give you every fucking thing I have, because that's all I've ever wanted to do. You know what I mean? It's easy for me to go all in with shit like that, because that's like been ingrained in who I am since forever. So having the opportunity to do that, even on the scale that DPW, DPW is not the biggest fucking wrestling thing in the world, whatever. Like, but just the show, every single show is getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and just having the opportunity and platform to do that is a blessing. And I tell those assholes all the time how grateful I am for what they're doing and how much I believe in everything. So it is the future. I believe it is the future, for sure.
Speaking of entertainment, for the last question I have, if it's up to you, what content creator would you move the end of the earth to collab work with on the project? It doesn't have to specifically be YouTube. It could be a film, a movie, a feature length or short. It can be even YouTube. Like, who would you like to say, you know what, we pandemic or not, COVID still being a thing or not, we gotta work, motherfucker. Like, that's how.
Shit. I mean, the whole thing, like you said, like feature length thing or something, like that's huge dream of mine. Obviously, like, I'd love to be able to act in certain shit and do stuff like that. So when I see like some of my favorite directors, like Christopher Nolan, one of my favorite directors, like his crazy ass doing all crazy shit, like, oh my God, I would love to be in a movie like that. But at the same time, like, I've been a Jim Carrey mark since I was a baby. God, having to do like any sort of comedic thing that I'd be able to do alongside him, oh my God, I would piss and shit everywhere. Like, it'd be the ultimate moment of my life to be able to do something with Jim Carrey. And somebody like Jeff Goldblum, who I think is the fucking, like, one of the coolest dudes in the world. There's like just obviously big stuff like that seems to be a little far out there, but this is stuff that I really want to work towards. Like, I genuinely believe that if you only got one shot here, and you want to do something big and crazy, and people tell you can't do it, like, you just got to fucking try it anyway. So that's always my goal, is just look for bigger and better, and try to get to those places that I wanted to be. And if I ever have the opportunity to work with those people, I will give them everything I got. You know what I mean? I will make them not regret it.
Won't be able to tell him nothing. Won't be able to tell Chris, like, hey, I've accomplished everything I can do. Y'all ain't gonna be able to tell me no wrestling business. Kiss my ass.
All of it, man. I want all of it. I know it sounds selfish, but I'd love to dip my hand in everything as much as I can. I want to be everywhere. So.
Oh yeah, you sound. If you weren't the equivalent of me, you sound like me. I'm like, bro, I just want to do everything possible until I'm not able to move anymore. That's literally how
I hear that. 100%.
But yo, man, that's our time. Where can we find you on, for those who are not watching or who don't know of Chris Danger or Chris Denker, DenkOps? Where can they find you on social media?
You can find my YouTube, youtube.com/DenkOps. That's where I upload the majority of my content. If you want to see me as less content wise and more just IRL shit, you'll find that mostly on Instagram and Twitter. That's at the Chris Denker. And then DPW is where I do this little thing as Chris Danger. And he's a pretty big piece of shit, and you're probably gonna hate him, but that's great. I really hope you do. It means I'm doing my job right. DPWOndemand.com. Sign up for that shit. It's worth it. I promise. And it's only the beginning. We're about to do some crazy shit.
Yes,
If you
sir.
have no, like,
Whew.
I obviously can't say shit.
Oh, yeah,
but
obviously.
I bug them about stuff all the time. Tell me this, tell me that, about yada, what, you know, who's when y'all fucking see some of the shit that's going down these next couple months. Oh my God. They just announced recently. Oh my God, what was I just gonna say that they announced recently?
The match.
When is this going up? I don't know if I can say it.
It's going up way after.
Just keep
It's
just
going,
say
yeah.
on the they're gonna announce the stuff.
Just go to twitter.com/DP. There's a Deadlock Pro.
Yeah, Deadlock Pro. I don't know what I can say and can't say. So
yeah.
just look at the stuff that they announce, and it's gonna be crazy.
This will be going up the week before DPW, or a week or two before the next DPW event, which is on the 6th.
Yeah, August 6th. Believe the hype. I believe we're back in Raleigh for that at the oh my God, what was the name of the friggin' place? At the effing place that it's at, which is called, I was literally just there a month ago, and it is called the Holhauser building. That's what it is. We only did that venue once, but man, I love that venue. It's like a domed thing, and the acoustics in there are absolutely crazy. That's probably one of my favorite venues we've been at so far. So yes, Holhauser building, August 6th, DPW, believe the hype. And if you're not sure about the hype, you will definitely fucking believe it after this show.
And obviously it'll be if you can't make it out, it'll be streamed on DPW on demand.
DPW on demand, you get the full show and every other show we've done.
Yes, sir.
All of them.
I'm gonna have to make my way out there at some point. Like,
yes, you are. Yes, you do.
I've got, like, at some point, I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just gonna take the
atmosphere, man. I have been to a lot of wrestling shows, and obviously it's not as big, and you know, you're not getting the same amount of people, sure, but like, you literally will not feel that if you are at the DPW show. It feels like you are part of something so special, and it's like the vibes are immaculate, absolutely immaculate.
Oh, yes, sir. And if you haven't already, check me out. Make sure you follow me at Josh Gresham ORG. That is on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook is Joshua Gresham ORG, or the Gresham brand. I think they converted my personal into a brand now because I have over 1,000 followers. I'm like,
big
what?
things.
Like,
making big moves.
But if you want to follow the actual podcast itself, Gresh Unleashed everywhere, as well as GreshUnleashed.com for whatever you look. If you listen to this in audio format, this is where you can get all the audios. Like, if you don't want to look at my interesting face or Chris's interesting face on YouTube or wherever you stream this, you can check us out and listen to us in audio form. But hey, as we sign off, you know what? You got to stay safe out here in this world of unknown. But as your purveyor of mischief, I have to remind you of the one known, and that is you are appreciated, you are loved, especially by me, because I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you guys. And remember, of course. And remember to always, like that slogan I always say, for those of you who are new around here, I always say, eat because you got to stay healthy. You got to sleep because sometimes I forget to sleep. You flex because you're the strongest MF in the world, and you do it all over again. You repeat. That's it. That being said, you stay safe. We out. Be peace.